to add the upper cabinetry to the wine refrigerator, it's just a matter of extending this line first, I think would be a good idea. And remember, you don't know how far to go, so you just go across and bring this up to meet it. That's now the front plane, this plane here. And to achieve the side plane, we need the right vanishing point. So the left vanishing point for the front plane and the right vanishing point for the side plane. And this is an outside line, so I can use my sign pen to make this a little more, give this a little more strength. It's maybe too much. I've got all that coloring underneath because this is a renovation, so I need to go a little darker here. Okay. And in terms of which side it's facing, these are both facing this way now. And the front is now, this is all front. We won't put any detail in there for now. We'll just get it sorted out in terms of which direction everything is looking. And of course the shadow is going to have to come up as well. And this is right against the wall, so we can use the center of the light source to show the top of that shadow right from the corner. Like that. We could just fill that in now. Getting back to the table, we've put up our 4 verticals. Here's the one, here's the other, and the back one. Now, we have to bring this back to the wall along this line and go up 2.5 feet. 1, 2.5 right here. And then we need to use our left vanishing point to bring that across to our verticals. Much better to use this wall than this wall because it's too close to that vanishing point. Whenever you run into that situation where something is close to a vanishing point, if you have the other vanishing point to use and you're in 2-point, use the other one. Use the other wall to measure so that you aren't fooled by the distortion that's happening over there. Okay, so my boxes are going to line up. The tops of my boxes, my box over here, it's going to line up using my left vanishing point. Okay, so now that's the top of my table right there. And just to make it a little more clear, I'm going to see if I can knock back the color here on my banquette. It was very important to have that in order to make sure that it was absolutely correct. If you have a round table, it's a little easier to slide into the seat if your tabletop is round. It's also a matter of taste. And kitchens are so square, having some circular elements, elliptical elements, is probably quite welcome. But I think there's something about a kitchen, all those strong verticals. There's something very reassuring about a kitchen. Very structured and stable. and predictable. So that's a nice thing about a kitchen. Add some warmth from the range and some wonderful smells from the oven. It's no place like home. And these things, you see, it sounds silly, but they are very important to your presentation. You would talk about the memories that your client would have in this kitchen, can expect to have at this table that wasn't there before the renovation. Okay, so you've got our diagram there. We divide into 3 as our usual, and always your first guess is wrong, so you have to, well, mine is anyway, so you have to kind of go around and try different things till you get something that looks like you're dividing these diagonal lines into 3 equal parts. Okay. Remember, don't fill it up completely. You've got to leave a little bit of open space. Now here's the danger zone. When you try to fill that whole space up, my pencil's a little dull, so I'm doing that myself. And the tendency is want to press like I'm doing, and that's probably a mistake. It'll get a cleaner line if you go at it very slowly. Again, we need to find the center. I'm going right from my green lines. I'm following all my green lines to do this. And now, if you don't have a set square that's this big, please use your long ruler. If you're not making contact with your vanishing points, then everything's going to be off kilter. So you really have to make the effort. Now, I want to make a pedestal that's fairly small, so I'm just checking to see if that's the right size. And with circles, it's extremely unpredictable because we lose so much of the square, as you see. So I'll give this a go, and if I don't like it, I can always make it a bit bigger. That's why it's good to start out lightly. Because this is the same proportion as the larger green box, I should be able to make a half-decent circle in there. So remember, you know that the circle touches on the straight lines, and where you've made your notches is how you find the curve. And even though we're only going to see the front part of this curve, it's important to draw the whole thing all the way around. So my first notch was wrong here. I should have gone a little further back. I see that now. And once you have that in, you find the widest part. You bring your set square over as a vertical, find the widest part and bring that up, and bring it up on the other side. And now this, you will be sure that it is centered underneath your table. They share the same center. I should have checked that first, actually. They do. They share the same center. Our only true side plane here, orange side, would be the thickness of the table. We would have that. And the top plane is here. And the front plane. This would become a side plane here. And it's a bit of a side plane there. But the front of our pedestal would be here. And then we'd have a side plane for our circle there and there. See how the important putting in your black lines at the end is going to be. But you have toe kicks yet to put in for your island, so maybe don't ink that in right now. I just feel I have to show you this a little more clearly so you can see it. If you want to wait, if you can wait until the end to do your inking in, I think I would advise you to do that so you're not inking in something that you wish you had left blank or light instead of too dark. And even so, even now, I'm using my vanishing point. I don't ever stop using it, and when you're inking in your detailed line drawing, have your vanishing points and your eye level on your drawing the whole time you're doing that as well. It's so easy to slip and lose sight of it, of what you're doing. So keep that up all the way through the process until it no longer makes sense to have them there. The next thing that the client wants, a big light fixture. They didn't feel the room had enough light in the evenings. We're going to make it 1/2 foot away from the stools and 1/2 foot, because that's supposed to be 1 foot by 1 foot, and it does not look that way at all. So we're going to chop off 1/2 foot away, 1/2 foot until we get here, and then we're going to add only another 1/2 foot, not a whole foot, just a 1/2 foot. So that what we'll end up with is a box that's 2 feet wide and 1 foot deep, and it will look like a square in perspective, oddly enough. That's what we're going to work with. And once you get that mapped out on your floor, the next thing to do is to walk that to the wall. And on the other side, do the same. And once you get to the wall, you go straight up. Okay, and you use your left vanishing point to bring that out onto the ceiling and out onto your cartridge paper as well. So you're drawing right outside the grid. Now you know why we left the 3 inches at the top, and we're drawing right out onto our grid. And now we don't have verticals, so that's not good, as you know. So we've got to get those up right away. So, but now that we have that one line up, I know that the line that's directly in line with it, I know where to stop it this time. And I'm going to do this because I'm trying to keep my head out of the way. I've got a little bit of this drawn at the top, but not very darkly. So hopefully this has the element of surprise, a little bit anyway. So now I'm putting up the next corner. Okay, and now where those two converge, the front corner and the line that's making this box, where they converge, it tells me to turn around and go the other way. And I can complete a box now. Unfortunately, the front of my box and the back of my box line up. So I can't show you that back line because it's the same as the front line, but hopefully you can imagine where that would be. And using our vanishing points left and right, we get this all lined up. And there's the box for the light that would be sitting on the ceiling. Now the hardware or the seating for the light would be right in the center of this. So it's right there. And since it's probably going to be round, we should probably make a little box up there that's the same proportion as the box. So we would just choose a size for it. And at this point, we don't really know what to choose, but you have to start somewhere. So you pick something, and where it crosses the orange line, and this would have been an orange line too, had they not lined up, we'd have seen an orange line, but imagine that's orange too. And where they collide, the green lines that I'm making collide with the orange line, I know to turn and go the other way, and it didn't go far enough. And turn and go the other way this way. And then go this way. And I could make either a square there or a circle. In that box, I would make the seating for the light. The box also hangs down 2 feet from the ceiling. That's where my light is going to be, is inside there. When you want to know how far to hang it in the room, again, you have to come back down to the wall, go down the 2 feet, and use your left vanishing point and bring the 2 feet over. And this will give us this side of the box for the light. And then when they converge, you go the other way, and then go the other way. And then go the other way. Now you can stop at this point because you've got now the formation for your light. There is something on your sheet when it talks about the large light, large ceiling light fixture. It tells you it's 2 feet wide, 2 feet deep, and 9 inches high. The 9 inches refers to this part, that globe part. So that's my dimension though. You may choose a different one. If I divide this into 4, so this is 6 and 3 is 9, because every one of these feet is 12 inches. You'll have to decide for yourself what looks aesthetically pleasing for your proportions. For my proportion, I have this, and that gave me the right size to put the globe, the bowl of my light fixture in it. I know it's odd. I have been putting details on some things and not on others, but the things I've been detailing are the ones that I think will give you the most grief. So, well, not grief. No, we're not going to have grief. But they will be interesting, a little more interesting than the others. So I'm giving you as much as I can to give you a good start. No grief. No, no, no. Then I made my circle out of that. If I divide this into 3. Okay, so here's my widest part over here. There's my circle there. There. So then I chose to round this out. Maybe that meant this whole piece. I can't quite remember. but then you would just round your dome out, if that's the shape of your light. And you wouldn't have to do that on your box drawing, as I mentioned. You can just leave it as a box for now, the box that I stopped at, and know that you have to seat your light up there. Don't forget, this as well is going to have thickness, so you have to drop that down. And the light would actually be seated there, so that you could show that there's some thickness to that as well.